Need for Speed is a franchise that has gone through a lot. I used to play it on the PS2, Xbox 360, and now on the Xbox One. The past years of the franchise were rough. We had burnout games named Need for Speed, some games were buggy and rushed, so overall, the games always lacked something. Until in 2015 we had the reboot of the franchise, which brought us back to the golden era of Need for Speed, with extensive customization, real-life cutscenes set at night, and with the emphasis on the underground street racing scene. Later on we had Payback, and let's just not talk about it, okay? Fast forward to 2019 with Need for Speed Heat. Oh man, this game is awesome. The main idea from this game was to be a game that would bring Need for Speed back to the top. Was it able to do it? Let's see. Need for Speed Heat brought back all the good things from the most recent games. Different types of racing, amazing customization, and both visual and performance upgrades, without all those problems of Payback. This time, you get rewards from actually playing the game. How innovating! This game has a pretty cool progression system. When exiting the garage, you're gonna choose between day or night. During the day, you race on legal events that will reward you with money. And during the night, you will race on illegal events that will grant you reputation, which is basically XP. When upgrading your car, you're gonna unlock parts with reputation, and after unlocking them, you're gonna buy them with money. This is a pretty good system that makes racing during both day and night important to the campaign. During the day, the money is banked right after you finish the race. But during the night, we have a risk-reward system that makes night racing even more appealing. At night, each time you exit the garage, you keep getting reputation when completing races, and not only reputation, but also heat keeps being accumulated. You have 5 heat levels. The higher the heat, the more difficult the police will be, and there's a catch. If you get busted, you will lose all the XP you got that night, and if you go to the garage, the reputation points you have with you will be banked and safe. But not only that, the higher the heat, the higher the reward. Your heat level will multiply the reputation you got with the races. For example, if I got 50,000 points and went to the garage in heat level 1, I would get only 50,000 points. But if I went to the garage in heat level 5 with the same 50,000 points, I would get 250,000 points. But when you go to the garage, the night ends and your heat level goes back to 0. So you have to choose between getting more points in a smaller time but with the possibility of losing all your points, or banking your points safely but losing the opportunity of getting more points. And I'm gonna be honest, it feels so satisfying to arrive at our safe house with 1 million points after an intense heat level 5 pursuit.
Pretty good. Sometimes the main thing is to keep your name fresh in people's minds.
This system, along with the aggressive cops and the car health bar system in which your car won't be able to take much damage, makes the night racing so intense and fun. Okay, so the progression is fixed. One thing out of the way. Let's talk about the rest. As I said, the performance upgrades are great again. But what about the visual customization? It is great, with more cars, options, and variety than before. With body kits, paint jobs, stands, wheels, lights, and now even with sound customization options that will allow you to choose how your car's sound will be. And what about the visuals? They are an improvement on the past game, with a lot of reflective surfaces and neon lights that add a little spice to how the game looks, along with better textures and 3D models. Those effects get absolutely gorgeous at night, but sadly I can't say the same thing about the daytime visuals, in which don't look that great compared to nighttime, but still, it's an improvement from Payback. And what about the story? Well, it is good. It focuses around the rivalry between the street racers and the police, and it has an entire story surrounding that, with racers working together to find evidences and ending the police cruelty, and with the cops using corruption and power to put an end on the street racing in the city. We have a few characters with their own personalities and conflicts, along with a protagonist who was there just to be a successful racer but ended up in the middle of this crossfire and decided to help the racers. What about the map? Welcome to Palm City, or just Miami. The city is pretty well designed and its lanes fit perfectly with the game's physics, and it looks good too. We have the main part of the city on the east side of the map, and with the rest being some countryside and smaller cities, along with some highways through the map. What about the soundtrack? As I said, Heat's map is heavily inspired in Miami. For that reason, we have a very Miami vibes soundtrack. A soundtrack full of Latin culture music, especially during the day. I kinda like and dislike it. During daytime free roam, I really enjoy these songs, along with some other songs that aren't Latin, but still have that summer vibe into it. But during the daytime racing, I feel like they don't fit in that much. I would rather have a soundtrack with electronic music in racing than having these. Or maybe even those epic songs from Carbon. At night, we have a different playlist. The nighttime free roam playlist is pretty trash if I'm being honest. There are good songs, but it's just a few. But during the nighttime racing, the playlists go for an electronic music approach, with styles that are just so frenetic and keep your blood pumping, like drum and bass and even a few dubstep songs. So during the daytime, I like free roam and dislike the racing playlist, but during the night is the opposite. I like the racing playlist and dislike the free roam music. There's also the garage playlist, which is basically my favorite along with the day free roam and the night race. In the garage, you're gonna listen to some more chill songs, like Linked by Bonobo or Easy by Tycho, which is the song that I use in my outro. Not only chill songs, but also some other styles of electronic and rap music. Overall, Heat soundtrack is pretty good if I'm being honest. What about the gameplay? The game's physics are amazing, without the inconsistent physics of 2015 and with a map that fits with its physics. You can take long turns and sharp corners easily with this physics system. Accelerating, jumping, turning, or drifting feels so good, and now you can also choose how you want to drift. With the new system in which you release the gas and press it again to drift, or my personal favorite, which is the good and old brake to drift system, that allows you to take turns effortlessly and in a faster way. The game has problems, of course, every game has, but are they massive? Short answer, no. Long answer, the game has its problems like any other game, but they are tiny problems compared to the complete experience. When I talk about Heat's problems, I'm talking about a few sections of the map in which your car won't have a good contact with the ground, resulting on you not having any control of the car, since you can't turn or brake your car if your wheels aren't making contact with the floor. This problem is the only one that affected my experience.
Hello guys, Editing Fuzz here, and I just want to point out two other bugs that affected my experience, those being some traffic and cop cars rendering in front of you, leaving you without any time to dodge them. And also there is a tunnel in the game in which sometimes there will appear a giant wall on the entrance out of nowhere, and you might hit it a few times. But that's pretty much it, back to the video.
And we also have some visual problems, but these are just texture rendering bugs and a few visual features that make the game look worse, especially during the day. For me, the graphics are kind of a mixed bag. Nighttime looks gorgeous, but daytime looks pretty bad for a 2019 game. It has some features that make the game looks worse. These features don't affect much at night, but they get really visible during the day. That's something that I just wanted to point out. But these problems are that big of a deal compared to the past games of the franchise. Those problems were game breakers. Rivals and 2015 had the always online thing that made those games impossible to play if you have a poor internet connection. 2015 also had some problems with the physics being inconsistent, and Payback had cars separated in classes and a pay-to-win loot box system that would grant you performance cars based on how lucky you are, and I'm glad to say that problems like these are left in the past for good. Without connection problems, along with a system that took out the fun of customizing your car, which is one of the most iconic things to do in a Need for Speed game. Overall, Need for Speed Heat is an amazing game. It has its flaws, but they are just tiny little mistakes on a big piece of art. The day and night system, car health bar, progression, aggressive cops, customization, and other things make this game one of the best racing games in years, and one of the best games of the entire franchise. What the future holds for the franchise, we don't know yet, but let's hope that it is a game that follows the steps of Heat and learn with the mistakes of the past games. But that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a thumbs up and please subscribe for more. Goodbye and may God bless you.